Are we finally there? Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Facebook is not happy today. They didn't want to take my Zoom feed. They didn't want to open up the event I already made. I had to do a new live and do a new title, and we're backwards. Well, leaving all that behind, what do we have today? Welcome. Thanks for coming to my page. I'm live right now because it's Friday and I'm celebrating a very productive week. Meaning, I did lots of things. I was like one of those cats on the keyboard, and I feel very good about all the engagement that I'm putting out into the world, and hopefully it gets reflected back onto me, right? That's all what we all hope. So, why now? What's up? Well, first I'll address why the get up. So, what does this look like? I don't know. Is anyone catching my vibe? I'm trying for something specific. So, I will wait and see if anyone, gosh, there we go. If anyone picks up what I'm putting down. There we go. Yes, hopefully it's not too hard to guess. But why am I here in general? I'm here because there's been a lot of changes at Taste Life Twice. And I'm hoping to gather people in with this new mode that I'm adopting. So basically, I've been hiding behind the scenes, sort of putting out content socially on Facebook and Twitter, trying to do things consistently and keep up with trends a little bit, just a little bit. But putting most of my effort into searching for a new job. And since everyone can guess how that is going, I decided at the end of August to switch things up and put my effort into what I really considered valuable, which is the things that bring me joy, the things that share my experience and my research and my values with the world. And that is my author business. So it's, terrifying to share the part of you that is most creative and therefore most vulnerable with the world. But, I mean, why do anything else, right? So that's the reason for my switch up. I went to a panel at the Willamette Writers conference in August, and I think it was August. It was right at the cusp of the month. I think it was July 31st and August 1st. And it was a great panel about social media strategy and really picking the platforms that that work with your strengths. And so I did some research. I crunched some numbers. I did some soul searching, and I thought, I've been struggling to do all these different things, but it's like struggling to love what you hate. I mean, maybe some people want to do that. Maybe that's part of their life philosophy. But I really don't want to prioritize working with Facebook and Instagram because they're owned by people who don't care about our opinions and who feel that it's okay to disinform us and profit from our data and our behavior and sell to us without, anyway, platform. So I'm here now because I'm trying to coax you into something that I feel is a little more neutral, which is Patreon. So let's see. I'm making videos. I'm writing books. I'm sending letters and postcards. And those are all my strengths that I'm sending out into the world and hoping that people get joy from, appreciate, feel good about doing a small bit in the world to make it a better place. And I'm doing that on YouTube, I'm doing that on Twitter, and I'm doing that on Patreon. So I will give you a little preview of what's going on there right now. So hopefully you'll be like, ooh, I want some of that. Let's go. So let's see. I'm making videos, and you may or may not have noticed. Any guesses for the costume? Feel free to pop it in the chat. I have, let's see, it's September 25th today, and I have done a video every single day over on YouTube. And they're shorter, but they're following the questions on the Proust questionnaire, which is something I picked up in Paris at Shakespeare and Company bookstore. So it was book related, but honestly, the questionnaire is very navel gazing, as you would expect a Proust questionnaire to be. So basically, it's like a big introductory video taken into little pieces, like snack size for each day. And that's been super fun. It was a challenge because I've never edited videos before, and I was definitely scared of it. And my first toe dipping into that water was watching the CauseTuber long video about how to outfit yourself to be a YouTube creator. And there was lots of new language to me. There was lots of new equipment to me, which I have not adopted, as you can probably see. I was trying to use Zoom. Now I'm on my laptop camera, just going live on Facebook. So yeah, so they had a lot more detail than I needed, but it helped give me an intro into what it could be, but also told me that iMovie's just fine, y'all. So I've been working on my iMovie skills, and um, editing is not so bad, dare I say it. I mean, you know, these could always be better. I could have lights and, I don't know, a better background, but this is what I have in my apartment, and it's gray and rainy outside in Portland, which is beautiful. So I'm appreciative of the rain, and this is what we have for now. So that was great. So I've been doing videos every day, and we're going to change to a a more leisurely schedule to, I think, twice a week. So that's what we'll be aiming for. I've got a barrel full of video ideas to start off with, and I'm reaching out good tentacles, to make connections with people on YouTube so that we can do buddy reads and collaborate on readathons. Like I said, CostTube with Bernadette Banner as my, gateway drug was a lot of new language, and now with using BookTube's language is also a lot of new vocabulary. So, yeah, I might be throwing some of that out at you. I've got posts that are public up on Patreon that explains some of those new words, and it's previewing my BookTube schedule, which is fun. Also terrifying, creativity, vulnerability, plans, failure. It's putting a lot out there that is vulnerable, and, now you have to live up to it, or you're trash. There's all these sorts of thoughts swirling. So hopefully people join me, and that feeling is sort of tamped down and dispensed with, not once and for all, but every bit of time. And yeah, we'll get going on some of those collaborations on BookTube. What about Twitter, you say? Well, Twitter, it seems like, to me, and correct me if you have a different idea, but it seems like it's sort of the fast way. It's like the Slack for BookTube. It's like people shoot each other things on Twitter to notify that there's videos up, and to say, hey, do you want to do this thing? That's how I got on a live video. So my sort of gateway drug, or my first booktuber role model, is Bethany. Her account is called Beautifully Bookish Bethany. And she put out a call on Twitter that said, hey, is anyone interested in this topic? It's a consumerism in BookTube kind of thing. I'm going to do a live tonight, I think. So it was one of those spontaneous, spur of the moments. Hey, you want to join in? And of course I was like, yeah. So I jumped in and met more booktubers that way, saw them in the comments, searched them out. It's all about making connections. So that's been fun. And that's how I feel like Twitter's operating. Of course, there's all, besides the book focus, there's everything else on Twitter. And of course, I know some of my friends are like, Twitter, no, dead to me, ever, never again. But I haven't found that yet. I actually like Twitter people I find on there. So maybe I just like have, maybe it's the opposite of my in-person persona, because in person I feel like I exude this vibe of like, don't mess with me. But on Twitter, it's like, hey, yay, let's do the things that are fun. That could be one thing. Because I run into fun people and tweet them and find authors that way. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with it or that's not optimal, but it's good for notification board and doing collaborations, and maybe it'll blossom into something more, or maybe it'll descend into darkness. I mean, November is coming. So that's Twitter. And then Patreon itself, I'm not sure how that is going to evolve. Right now, I'm doing 1 or 2 posts a week, and I'm sort of alternating whether they're for patrons or public, because I'm still launching and still trying to get people interested and give them a taste of what I'm going to be doing on there while I'm inventing what I'm doing on there. So really, it's a good time for suggestions and feedback and, oh, what if you just did this little tweak, or oh, what if you had it on this day, that sort of thing. So yeah, feel free to pop on over to Patreon. You can follow without joining yet, and then see what's available, what's coming. That's totally cool. Yeah. So let's see, what are the other things I have on my list? I'll put in a message here so it doesn't look so blank and empty. Cool. Yeah, what else do I have? I could tell you what is up right now. Oh, I could tell you what's on Patreon in terms of my tiers. So if you don't know what Patreon is, because you've been brainwashed by Facebook and Instagram to only use those platforms, you can post everything there like you would on a website. Word posts, image posts, video posts, links, like you can throw anything up. Basically, you have a feed and you have followers and you have patrons. And patrons subscribe, which means they promise to send you however much they want a month and say, here's for all the work you're doing. I see you. I want to keep you going and know that we're looking out for you. So I have 3 tiers at the moment. I have $2, $5, and $25, although I think I may downgrade that to 10. There's lots of things to play with. So $2 is general support, which means you're watching me and you're saying, I see you, you're doing great things. I don't have money to spare right now, but this $2 I can at least afford, because that's like a cup of tea, and I don't know. I used tea bags twice. Is that wrong? And I just ran out, so we're out of black tea. This is an emergency situation. But no. Yes, so that is a vote of confidence and much appreciated, because it's like social proof, as they say, and that's part of like the psychology behind Patreon. The next one is $5, and that is a little more exciting because you get something for it. Meaning, I take my letter writing skills, which if you've ever gotten a Christmas card from me, you know are not to be sniffed at. I've been known to address things in calligraphy, put stickers on, do color blocking, reuse markers. Like, it's just super fun to have something that's decorated come to you in the mail, in your mailbox, to sort of, look a little different than all the bills and junk mail you get. So, I know, I feel you. My mom, she may be on here later, is the one that does that for me. She's got the bossest sticker collection. And even if I have to remind her where I put them when I decluttered her collection, she uses them generously in all her letters to me, and it's great. So I applaud that, and I also do the same. I have my own methods of, can we say pimping out? I don't know. Is that appropriate? I don't know. Pimping out the letters and my postcards and stuff that I send out. So that's the $5 tier. You get a postcard If you're a writer, I'll probably visit your site and, comment on your books or your current events. So that's always fun to basically reflect the glow of appreciation back onto your own creative projects. Who doesn't want that, right? Um, so that's fun. And then the $25 one or the $10 one, whichever it will turn into. I don't know how they track the benefits. Anyway, it was basically a way for the people who are around for the long haul to have a little bit of book mail, because when my books come out, it's kind of like an unboxing. You get a crate full of fun stuff. The book, something extra, whatever it is for that season, for that time period, whatever I find that is particularly bookish and inspiring, bookmarks or cards or I don't know. We'll have to see. um, yeah. So that is probably going to be next fall. So that's just like $10 to keep it going until the next book comes out, because I publish my own books. So that is the Patreon rundown, and I can tell you now what is up today on BookTube. My channel is listed under, what is it? If you just search Margaret Pinard, I'm Emily Margaret Pinard on YouTube, so that will pop up. And today, oh yeah, today I tweeted this morning. It's the video that I am the most anxious about sharing, and if you see it, you will know why. Because I dance in it. So I sort of wanted to do this for TikTok, because I'm also now on TikTok because it's quarantine. Anyway, I found this really cool song. I did some dance. I was also in costume, not this one, and it was super fun. But the expression is dance like no one's watching, not like dance like anyone on YouTube could be watching. But we'll see. So yeah, check that out. You can see the link on Twitter at Taste Life Twice, or on BookTube directly at Margaret Pinard. So that went up today. We've got fun things in the pipeline. I just posted on Patreon what's in the pipeline, which is this fun thing called Victober. So people do all sorts of readathons, which means they have a theme for a certain period of time. Right now, we're in the middle of, almost in the middle of Latinx-a-thon, and then October starts Victober, which is Victorian novels. So yay! So I'm going to be doing my first this is what I'm going to read post in the beginning of October, and it's going to include some random stuff that I need to read and some Victober stuff. So I've been creeping on other people's pages, seeing what they're doing, and I'm pretty excited. So we'll see how that rolls out. Next month, because Victober is a great name, Victorian October. But then to follow, what would you suggest? Well, obviously you would want to move into the Edwardian period, am I right? I mean, there's some things that I would like to say about that period. But that's pretty short. It's only like 10 years. So it's more like 1901 to 1938 is what I would say. Let's read the next tranche of books, because there's so many good ones. I visited Persephone Books in 2018, and they're a fabulous bookshop / publishing company in London. And they promote 20th century women writers, and a lot of them are in this period, this what you could call modernist period, and it's a different aesthetic, it's a different style, it's like quiet, domestic, interior battles, sort of like gender changes, gender roles changes, all these things that were happening in society, and it's fascinating. So there's some superstar names that come from that period. Dorothy Whipple is Persephone's favorite to bang on about. But I definitely have some others in my collection that I could put on my list to be read. But I don't have a good snappy pun. I don't know. Modernism doesn't really describe that writing, that literary era. It's more like Great War to the Interwar kind of thing. So it's like Edwardian to the interwar period in terms of writing. So I definitely need help on this. Definitely give me your suggestions if you're interested in this period, or if you're just good at snappy names. Um, yeah, and Mighty Blazers will definitely be good at snappy names, I've noticed. So feel free to contribute. Um, let's see. I have buddy reads. Oh, what's the last thing that I'm doing that I haven't updated anyone on? All those hours. Okay, so I'm working with a Mighty Blaze, and that's one volunteer effort that's going forward. They're a publishing nonprofit cooperative that leapt into the gap, as Henry V would say, to help authors who were launching books during the pandemic. And they've pivoted and grown and adjusted and supported. They're like, the big family tree, basically. They're trying to support everyone in multiple ways. And I'm helping with social media engagement and festival coordination for them. But festival coordination, what does that make me think of? Oh, the festival in Portland, Oregon. Yay! So I think everyone on this page would know Yola Book Afloat, PDX. This is my brainchild. This is my offering. This is my brought into the world idea. So, in case you haven't heard of it, or in case you want to know more, or in case you just want to escape whatever you're sitting in front of and listen to a fantastical book festival description. Yola Bókaflóð is an Icelandic festival originally. Yola means Yule, Boka means book, and Flóð means flood. It's pretty close to the English there. So Christmas Book Flood, it was when their catalogs would come out to buy books, and it only happened once a year because of the great difficulty in shipping anything, and the lack of paper mills or trees of any kind to harvest on Iceland. And so it was this big deal. Everyone bought books and gave them as gifts for Christmas. So Christmas Eve, you would exchange books. You would go home. You'd be like tucked in, cozy, because Iceland is friggin' cold. You'd be cozy in your sweater in front of a fireplace with your hot cocoa and just read all night. And I was like, why don't we have this in Portland? So it's not as cold as Iceland, obviously. But that's perfect for Portland. It's such a book town. It's so bleak in December. We could use this. And yeah, so Marriage Made in Heaven. I decided to make this an indie author book fair. As an indie author, I realized that the opportunities for readers to meet indie authors in Portland had been, I don't know, cut by 2/3 by the fact that the Northwest Book Festival no longer operated. So a great lady who was an author but also a chiropractor ran it, and it was just like too much. She had gotten too big and she couldn't handle it anymore, so she stopped. And someone picked it up for a couple years, but it didn't work very well, and so they stopped. So yeah, so there wasn't that space where people could pay, I think it was $50 or something for a spot and be there all day in the summer when we have good weather. And so, hence this winter indoor book festival to give indie authors a way to meet readers and have a cool theme. So, but yeah, so we did it in 2018 and 2019, and 2020. What can I say? That's a hint. It's 2020 is a hint for what this costume refers to. Anybody? Okay. Yeah, so it's going virtual. And instead of what we usually do, which is just have tables and decorate them nicely and talk to people from a sitting position as they walk by and browse everyone's books, which is nice, but not very engaging on the virtual level. So what can we do through screens? Well, you can still buy books through the internet, obviously. Someone somewhere has pioneered that. I don't know. But yes, what can we do that's more interesting and engaging and sort of offers something for readers and gives them a taste of what the authors like or what their work might be like. So thought, well, why not bump this up a notch and make it a literary festival? Yes. So we are in the middle, smack dab in the middle of our application process, and applications are open. It's a bit.ly.com/Yola, Jola dash app, APP dash 20. So please apply if you're an indie author in the Northwest who's got something to say. Basically, I watched all these other virtual book fairs and they had such fascinating topics. These authors were not just talking about the stuff you get in a book reading at a bookstore, like where do you get your ideas or how do you do your research? It was more like, this is the big, fat, hairy issue I delved into when I researched my book, and this is how it relates to now. Like colonialism or patriotism or incarceration issues. I mean, there was like, I started with Hey on Why, which is like starting at the very top, and it just blew me away, the variety and the quality of their speakers. And so I thought, well, we can aspire to that. We're indie authors. We have ideas. We do our research. Why don't we try that? So that is the idea that we're going with this year. And trying to get people to learn this new medium, this screen interaction. Trying to encourage diverse voices. We've got one author who donated money to make this easier to not apply, because you don't pay to apply, but you pay $10 if you get in, and we want you in the festival because it costs money to run the platforms and stuff. And that's subsidized for BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, just to try to the small barrier we have to participating, just to make that more even for people. So that's our little mini effort, and trying to help the writer community. So I am I am late for my next thing. So I don't know, should I tell you what this is? I know Sally will guess it. I'm going to leave it and have people guess in the chat and see, what am I celebrating with this get up today? There we go. Thank you so much for coming by and, watching what I'm up to. And hopefully you enjoy the videos, you enjoy the Patreon posts, you find a niche that you like and are able to reflect back that glow of appreciation and trust that I'm putting out there to the writer community and the greater artist community. So thanks for watching and have a great weekend. Ta-da-da!